Hey guys, how you doing? How are you? It's Anna Brooks here. All right, so I want to have a quick chat with you today about, you say you want it, but are you really ready to receive it? So if you saw my post this morning, I'm very, very high vibe this morning after a certain meetup last night with a very, very much soulmate in my life who is just like, must have this person in my life, and she's absolutely incredible. And one of the things we talked about was this idea of receiving, of basically, setting the intention of what you want, putting it out there, and then just expecting that it's going to show up, basically waiting to receive, right? And so we were chatting about this idea of receiving and this idea of asking. And the thing that came up, right, was, yeah, okay, you say you want it, but are you actually ready to get what you want, right? Because I hear this all the time. This is very common, and it's something that I used to do as well, very much so. So I'm very much picking myself out while I'm saying this as well, that I wanted things, right? I'd say I want this job, or I want this opportunity, or I want money, or I want love, or I want whatever it is, right? And I would have it in my head that this is what I want. But the truth is, I wasn't actually ready to receive it in any way, shape, or form. So let's take, for example, money as one, okay, right? Because that's a very common one that people have, that I want money, I want more money. Yes, but are you actually ready to receive it? What will you do with this money? How will it come to you? What will it require of you? What kind of person would you need to be in order to have this kind of money? Because as you know, plenty of people come into money randomly, lotteries and things like that. And if you study the statistics, the amount of people that actually hold on to this money and don't squander it is very low. Most people who do not know how to handle money in the first place do not know how to handle massive wealth when it just arrives out of nowhere, right? So it's very much the same in this instance that, well, yeah, that's cool that you want it, but are you actually ready to receive it? And that means, are you the person now that this is a done deal for, that this is something that you are ready for, that you have emotionally, psychologically, physically prepared for? Are you already there and you're just waiting for the physical manifestation to actually arrive? Have you already changed this internally? Have you already become this person on the inside and you're just waiting for the outside to catch up, right? Because if you're not there, you can kind of wish and you can kind of want stuff all over the place, right? You can do it for as long as you want, and you can say, oh, relationships, right? So this is another huge one, and it's very much the first time that I discovered the actual power of my own manifestation and the power of asking for what you want. Is you get it all the time that someone will be saying, okay, well, I always attract the same kind of person into my relationships. I always end up with the same problems. I always end up with the same repeated issues and that kind of thing. What I really want is someone who will just treat me well. I want someone who's just going to love me unconditionally. I just want someone that I can connect with and be with and not second guess myself, not second guess the relationship, all that kind of stuff. Whatever it is that keeps creeping up for you. I've had, myself, and for lots of friends in the past, it's been a lot of different issues that seem to keep cropping up. And you're so adamant about it. You're so like, yes, I want this. I want this person to be like this, and I want to attract someone like this, and blah, blah, blah. But you're not actually ready to receive it in any way, shape, or form. You have actually done nothing to change your internal dialogue, your internal mindset, basically your compass of what you are directing your focus for. All that you've done is, yes, you complain about what you don't like, right? But you haven't shifted yourself internally to go, okay, well then how do I get this out of myself so that I stop attracting it? Because this is a huge revelation to have, that you are responsible for everything in your life. The good, the bad, whatever way you want to see it, right? You have attracted this into your life. And it doesn't mean that you're a sadist or whatever and you just want pain and this is why you've attracted all this negative stuff. It's because there's a lesson there for you to have an opportunity to grow. But if you're not taking it, if you're not growing, if you're not doing that, well, then really you're going to be stuck in that loop regardless. If you keep blaming everything else around it and blaming these people that have come into your life and blaming these relationships that haven't worked as opposed to looking, well, hold on, maybe there's a bit of a recurring pattern here. Maybe it's me and not all these people. Maybe I'm not ready to attract it because whatever I'm ready for is coming towards me. And if the next person that walks into your life is exactly the same as what you've just given up because you've had enough of it, then guess what? You're not ready yet. You have not gotten to that stage internally where you're actually really and truly done, right? So this is something that became so obvious to me before I met my now husband, because I got to a stage in my previous relationship where I was just like, well, this person is the most incredible, kind, genuine person and everything, but they are not for me. And I deserve better and they deserve better, and we deserve to be happy, truly happy with the people that light us up inside, right? And on every single level. And when I decided that, lo and behold, I mean, I had obviously already put this in my mind, but I hadn't realized it, that I also moved states after I left that relationship. So I'd obviously put it out there that this person was going to be in the state that I was moving to, not in the state that I was leaving. State as in like Queensland to Victoria state, not like mental state. I know that's confusing because I always talk about mental states, right? Anyway, so when it got to that stage that I actually came back to I moved states back to my hometown, and it was like within a couple of weeks, something stupid like that, maybe within a month or so, that I met my now husband, because I was ready. I had changed internally. I had shifted things within me. Basically, I had made the decision internally that this is now my new standard. This is now what I will and won't accept. So I was kind of like, well, universe, you can send me a bunch of, awesomely nice guys who aren't right for me. You can send me a bunch of assholes, whatever you want to do. But I'm telling you now, I'm not even going to give them a second thought. They're going to come into my life and I'm just going to flush them back out because I'm done. I'm not wasting my time. I'm not wasting my energy on anything that's not 100% yes, all in, basically. I wanted my soulmate. I wanted my everything. And shock horror, I got it, right? And it was purely and only because I demanded it, because I was ready for it, and because I decided that, yeah, I'm going to stop that internal dialogue. I'm going to stop reverting back to all the stuff that I was holding on to beforehand and stop basically blaming everyone else for what was going on. And I was always very, very in tune with what I'm doing and very in tune with not placing the blame on others, trying to take responsibility. But we all have areas of growth, right? All the time. And we continue to, and I continue to for sure. And for me, that was the area that I needed to very much still move on from and still grow in. But when it happens, that's when that's when you're going to attract that person. That's when you're going to attract that money, that job, whatever it is that you want, is only when you are ready for it. And you can't force it. You can definitely, do all the mindset type stuff that you can, do everything, do some meditation, do journaling, do guided meditations, anything basically that you need. If you need to go, speak to someone professionally, a coach or whatever it is, that's fine. You can do all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's going to come from within. It's going to be a moment in time where things switch, things flick over. And it doesn't mean that that person, that job, that money is going to appear out of thin air straight away. Hey, it might. I've seen it happen before, and it's happened to me before. However, it might not. Sometimes it takes a damn long time to actually appear, but once you flick the switch, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you know that it's coming. You know that you're already there. You know that you've already moved on. And when everything is right, it will come into your life, and you trust that, right? Because if you're in that state where you're just going, oh, I want this, I'm sick of these crappy relationships always ending the same way, or I'm sick of my financial situation, always feeling like I'm running behind, I'm never catching up, I'm never getting ahead even, or your job, I'm always, dealing with the same shit, the same problems, the same colleagues, whatever it is. Yeah, that's fine. Have a whinge or don't. But you're not actually ready to receive that. You're not at all in a state. You're still in a state of this is all happening to me, as opposed to, well, hold on. Am I doing this? How am I doing this? Because you're doing it. I'm sorry. That's the reality, because the joy is, if you are responsible for the negative stuff, it means you are also responsible to bring as much of the positive stuff as you want into your life. As soon as you just take responsibility. You can't have one without the other, right? The whole yin and yang thing. You cannot know true love until you've known true pain. You cannot know you cannot know absolute abundance until you've known true loss, right? So you need to confront that. You need to deal with it. You need to accept what it is and choose a different way. But until you're in that mindset that you are actually ready for what you say you want, it's not going to matter how often you say it. It's not going to matter how many friends you call up and have a bitch about it to. It's not going to matter any of that. None of that will matter until you decide that you're ready there. And that is an internal thing, and you can't force it. You can definitely work on it, but you can't force it. But when it's there, it will be there, and that will be it. And there will be no looking back. There will be no holding back. And everything that you say you want will come into your life, because it can't not, right? You are going to be at that vibrational level where this is exactly what's coming into your life, and you just know it, and you trust it, and you're just like, yep, cool, I'm going to continue on with my life. I'm going to do what I need to do. It will come when it's good and ready, when it's perfect, when the perfect job, the perfect person, the perfect whatever has come into my life, then it'll be here, and I trust that, and I know that. But if you don't get there, if you're still stuck in that, oh yeah, no, I want this, but are you actually the person who receives that, right? Because the person who just whinges about the crappy relationships and then goes on a date with a new guy and sees all the warning signs that this is going to be exactly the same, but chooses to be like, oh no, we'll see what happens. It might be all right. It was only a first date. It was only a second date. And they don't trust their gut. They end up in the same position, right? And so you tell yourself, oh no, like I've got to see what happens and all that kind of thing. But the truth is, you just haven't chosen that. You're going to know. You're going to know when it's the right person. And I don't mean that every single time you have to be like, oh my God, I'm in love with you as soon as I meet you. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it needs to be at a point where you go with your gut, you trust your intuition, and you know when it's right. You don't second guess yourself. When you go on a date and you're like, hold on, this person feels exactly like the last few people I've dated, that I know how they've ended. Maybe I can just trust my intuition that's telling me this is not what I want, and send it away, because that is how it begins. The universe will always test you when you make a decision to make a change. It will always test you. Before I met my husband, it sent me plenty of tests, right? Of just people that I met before him. But literally it was one of those meet up one time type things. And I just went, no. I can see that either A, this is going to end in very similar ways, or it's just going to be not perfect for me either way. But nice try, universe. I told you what I wanted, and I'm not going to settle for less. And the wonderful thing is, when you decide what you will and won't settle for, you very often will get exactly what you demand. Because if you say, well, anything less is not good enough, then guess what? You're going to get it. Whereas when you decide that, oh no, I'll just take scraps. I'll put up with whatever you give me. That's okay. I'll take this crappy relationship. I'll take this crappy money. I'll take this crappy job, whatever it is. And the universe goes, well, all right, well, clearly that's your standards. Clearly that's what you want. I'm not going to argue with you. You're the boss of your universe. I'm just here to serve you. And it's serving you, and you're not impressed with it, right? So, as usual, I've gone off a little bit ranty and random, I guess, and tangents, as I do. But I'd love to know what you think of this. So if you're watching now, or if you're watching later or whatever, feel free to pop in a comment. Let me know if this is something that you've realized, if this is something that you're working on in a particular area. Like I said, it's relationships, money, career, job, that kind of stuff. That tends to be the big ones that people find this problem with, that they kind of go, yeah, I really want this, or I really want that, but then they just can't seem to get it. And it's usually because they make this decision that things are going to be different, but then because it doesn't come around straight away, they forget that they've made this decision, and you get distracted and you kind of go, well, shouldn't it be here by now? Like I said, I wanted it. Yeah, but are you actually ready for it? right? So are you, for example, so last night the catch up that I had was with an amazing friend that just instantly, as soon as, we started chatting, it was like, yep, this is it. This person has to be in my life. And I just knew it, right? And so while we were chatting, it was just like, well, yes, I called this in. I asked for this a long time ago, but it wasn't coming to me because I wasn't stepping up. I wasn't being the person who deserved this. I wasn't the person who was ready for it, right? I hadn't actually sorted out my life enough to allow someone else into it like this. So until I did that, it wasn't going to happen. It was exactly the same with when I met my husband. Until I decided to clear out and make room and decide that, hey, I'm better off alone than in a, not totally loved up relationship. Until I decided that and decided to actually jump off that ledge and go for it, it was never going to come there. It was never, you can't get what you want if you're still holding on to the crap you don't want out of fear of basically being like, oh, well, if I let go of this, then I won't have any relationship. I won't have anyone to love and love me or whatever. And I might be alone forever. And it's like, well, okay, yeah, you're absolutely holding on to that crap. And therefore there's no chance, there's no room for the awesome stuff to come to you. You have to let go. You have to trust to allow it to come to you in the first place. Okay? Cool. All right. So I will leave it there for today. I'd love to know any thoughts that you have on this, anything that you're going to be working on to maybe let go of, to maybe allow to receive, because whatever you want, it's there and it's right there and it's just literally banging on your door waiting for you to allow it. But until you do that, until you internally allow it and let it in, and until you decide that you are actually ready for it and you step up and you are the person who deserves and receives this. And by deserve, I don't mean like you have to go and, be an amazing person and do all these things to prove yourself. I mean, you feel, right? You know when you're deserving of something. You know when you're ready to step up and be a certain person. And like I said, the universe will test you. It will throw you crappy relationships. It will throw you crappy money opportunities. It will throw you crappy job opportunities just to test you, to make sure that what you say, that when you say, no, it's this or nothing, that you mean it, right? And it's there because then once you prove sort of yourself that you do really, really want this, and you're proving it to yourself, not to the universe. Once you do that, it will just flow and it will be effortless and it will feel, and you will wonder how in the fuck you ever didn't have this in your life. It will feel like that. You'll be like, I don't understand how I ever thought anything but this was okay, because that's how it's meant to feel, right? All right, I'm really, really going now. So I will see you guys later. Please let me know if you have any questions, want to have a chat about anything. Feel free to PM me as well. All right, I'll see you later. Bye.